Dick Tracy has been on my to-watch list for a while. It's a film that I have heard quite a lot about, and then I think I read an article about it in a magazine and put it on my to-watch list, and I think it must have been about a year ago, and I never got around to watching it. But I'm now watching all of the films of Dick Van Dyke, and obviously he's in Dick Tracy, so I decided it was time to check it out. And in general, I'd say that it's a solid film. It's not necessarily fully appealing to my tastes, but I did enjoy it. I doubt I'd watch it again. This was released in 1990. It's directed by Warren Beatty. It's written by Jim Cash and Jack Epps Jr. based on characters by Chester Gould. And we have music by Danny Elfman, which is always awesome. And we have a cast including Warren Beatty, Al Pacino, Madonna. Of course, we have Dick Van Dyke. And Beatty plays Dick Tracy, who is a detective. And I'll read this description from Wikipedia, actually, which I think sums it up quite well. It says, the narrative follows Detective Dick Tracy as he navigates romantic tensions with both Breathless Mahoney and Tess Trueheart, confronts the rise of crime boss Alphonse Big Boy Caprice, and begins fostering a young streetwise boy known only as Kid. So we have a lot going on there. He's in a relationship with Tess, and Breathless Mahoney, I don't know why that's a tongue twister for me. Breathless Mahoney is trying to seduce him, so we have a lot going on there. Then, of course, we have the criminal aspect with Caprice, which obviously brings in the detective element there. And then we have this quote-unquote young streetwise boy known only as Kid. The kid is played by Charlie Korsmo, who is quite an interesting character. I quite liked him and what he brought to this. With regards to the other characters, I like them. The performances were good. Al Pacino plays Caprice. He is a crime boss and obviously causes quite a bit of problem. And then we have Madonna playing Breathless Mahoney. And I liked her character as well. I thought her performance was really great, really captivating. And Beatty's performance as Dick Tracy was, I think for me, the reason I enjoyed it rather than the narrative itself. The narrative, it's well written, it's well structured, the pacing is really good, there's a lot of substance, but it didn't necessarily completely appeal to my personal tastes. But I did really like the character of Dick Tracy. Now, I've never read any of the comic strips from the 30s, so I don't know if this is an accurate representation of the character. If you have any thoughts on that, please feel free to share. But judging the character purely on the film, I thought he was really interesting. I love the costume. From what I've seen, the character does wear a yellow jacket in the comic strip, and I think that the clothing here was just really, really brilliant. It wasn't over the top, but it could become visually quite iconic, and I thought that worked quite well as well. And we have some really great performances, some really great music. In general, I enjoyed it as much as I can enjoy a film where the narrative doesn't really appeal to me. And by that I mean I pretty much liked every other aspect of it. And it's not that I didn't care for the story. Well, actually, it probably is that I didn't care for it, but it's not that I wasn't enjoying any of it. There were scenes that I liked, there were character interactions that I enjoyed. I just wasn't emotionally invested in the narrative itself. I wasn't bothered what the outcomes would be. I wasn't that interested. But there were so many other elements that worked really well that I came away from it feeling quite satisfied with the experience. Would I say it's worth the wait? And I don't mean the wait since 1990, but the wait for how long it's been on my to-watch list. I guess so. I didn't come away from it feeling like I should have watched it a year ago and I would have watched it many times since. I'm not that enthusiastic about it. But I'm glad that I've finally seen it. I'm glad that I had a reason to give it a go. Obviously, Dick Van Dyke being in it is really great. But even if he wasn't in it, I think my experience would have been the same. So he was the reason I decided to watch it, but ultimately not the main reason at least, that I came away from it feeling pretty satisfied with the experience. It's quite a fun film. The narrative is well written. I may not be that emotionally invested in it, but I still thought it was not too bad. And ultimately, if you're curious, check it out. If it's been on your to-watch list, give it a go. I don't think you'll regret it. If this is the first time you're hearing of it, I'd say jump in and give it a watch. It's a good experience. I doubt I'd watch it a second time, but I'm glad I finally got around to watching it. All things considered, Dick Tracy is not a bad experience, and I'm happy to recommend the film.